Today, we are diving into one of the biggest upsets in football history. But you know what? This story is about so much more than sports. It's a wild tale of politics, incredible power, and, yeah, a football club from a country that, well, it doesn't technically exist. This is the story of FC Sheriff. Okay, so picture this. We're in Madrid, the Santiago Bernabéu. It's the legendary home of Real Madrid, arguably the biggest club on the entire planet. And they're playing a Champions League match against a team that, let's be honest, even the most hardcore fans probably had to Google. They were complete unknowns on the world's biggest stage. And then the unthinkable happens. In the final minutes of the game, a player named Sebastian Thill just unleashes this absolute screamer of a shot into the top corner. And that was it. The little guys, FC Sheriff, had beaten the giants, Real Madrid, 2-1. It was a moment that just sent shockwaves through the sport. No one could believe it. Which, of course, brings us to the massive question. How in the world did this happen? How did a club nobody had ever heard of pull off a victory against the kings of Europe? Well, the answer isn't just about one lucky goal. No, it's a story that goes way deeper, into the very strange, very complicated origins of the club itself. Right, so to really get FC Sheriff, you have to first understand where they come from. And trust me, this is where things get really fascinating. The club's home base is a place called Transnistria. And just by looking at that flag, you can probably guess its political vibe. It's this narrow strip of land that broke away from Moldova right after the Soviet Union collapsed. But here's the catch. Pretty much no one in the international community officially recognizes it as a country. So just to be super clear here, Transnistria acts like its own country. It has its own government, its own army, its own money, the whole deal. But on the world stage, the UN and everyone else says, nope, you're still part of Moldova. As you can imagine, this creates let's just say, a very unique and tense political situation. And smack dab in the middle of all this is the football club. Think about how weird this is for a second. The club is based in Tiraspol, which is the capital of Transnistria. But since Transnistria isn't an officially recognized country, they have to play in the professional league of Moldova, the very country they broke away from. This makes the club so much more than a sports team. It's a huge symbol of Transnistrian identity and their desire to be seen as separate. Now, if you thought the politics were complicated, wait till we look at who's bankrolling this whole operation. Because the club's name, Sheriff, isn't just some random name. Oh no, it's everything. The club is owned by a gigantic company called Sheriff, which was co-founded by a former KGB officer. And the amount of control they have is just staggering. Sheriff pretty much is the economy in Transnistria. They own the supermarkets, the gas stations, the media, the banks, you name it, they own it. And it doesn't even stop there. They also control the region's main political party. So when you see this club's logo, that star, don't just think football. That star is the logo of the massive corporation that basically runs the entire place. The football club is the public face, the shiny marketing arm of this incredibly powerful and politically connected company. So, what happens when a club is backed by what is essentially a corporate state? Well, on the football field, you get nothing less than absolute, total, crushing dominance. I mean, their rise was like a rocket ship. They were founded in 1997, and just 2 years later, they won their first major trophy. By 2001, that's only 4 years after they started, they won the league title. And this wasn't some fluke. This was the beginning of a dynasty, all built on money and resources that no other team in the league could even dream of matching. And what does that dynasty look like in numbers? It looks like this one right here, 21. That is how many league titles FC Sheriff has won since 2001. Just let that sink in. In a league with only a handful of teams, winning that many times is almost unbelievable. And it's not just the league title. I mean, look at this trophy cabinet. They've stacked up 21 league championships, 13 domestic cups, and 7 super cups. They're not just a team competing in Moldovan football. For the last 2 decades, they have been Moldovan football. Okay, so once you've completely conquered your home league, what's next? This is where we start to see the real game plan. All of this, the political weirdness, the corporate muscle, it's all been serving a much larger purpose. This club was never, ever just about winning football matches. And this, right here, is the key thing to understand. The club, with its corporate star logo, and the unrecognized state with its old-school Soviet-style flag, they are basically two sides of the same coin. One exists to represent the other on the world stage. And that's the crucial point. Every single time FC Sheriff plays a big game in Europe, they are putting the name Transnistria on the map. For a place that nobody officially recognizes, a win against a giant like Real Madrid, that's so much more than just a sports result. It's a moment of global recognition. It's a classic case of soft power, using sports to try and gain political legitimacy. And you can literally see that power in bricks and mortar. The club built this absolutely incredible football complex that a lot of major European clubs would be jealous of. It's this perfect modern bubble of wealth and amazing facilities, standing in total contrast to its surroundings. And it's all designed to project this image of Transnistrian success and superiority. Now, critics of the club often point to the team roster itself as proof of what's really going on. I mean, take a look at this breakdown. Even though they play in the Moldovan League, the team is packed with international players, especially from Africa and Brazil. The argument is pretty clear. This isn't about developing local football talent, it's about using a ton of money to hire the best players you can find to win in Europe and push those political goals. So that leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. When you see a team like FC Sheriff play, what are you really watching? Is it the ultimate underdog story? A tiny team from nowhere beating all the odds? Or is it the perfectly executed, well-funded PR project of a powerful corporate state? The truth, as it usually is probably somewhere in the middle.